Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Pizza Friday. Welcome back to Pat's Nation Nightly, episode 17. As always, for Friday night, we have an amazing guest on for tonight's episode, the one and only Mike Kadlick. And of course, I'm Zach, joined by Ben, my co-host. How are you both doing tonight?
Doing good. All good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Good. Like you said, nice little Patriots combo before a nice Pizza Friday and get yourself into the weekend. So looking forward to doing this. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so we have a SpongeBob themed, I guess, episode today. We're kind of gonna go in detail matching SpongeBob characters to Patriots draft prospects. Mike, of course, is a huge, meme guy, SpongeBob guy, cartoon guy, you name it. Zach he told me before the show, he is just so amped up for this. I have never watched SpongeBob before. I have my notes right here. So I might have to be looking down and referencing those, but we'll have a fun time regardless.
So I guess with that, let's just jump right into it. Mike, we're going to kick it off with your SpongeBob comp for Drake May. Go right ahead.
All right. Yeah, so for those of you who are watching, as we said off air before we started, this is kind of a way to segue into, what we think about the prospects, right? And how they sort of compare to these guys, but also what we think of them. So, when you think about Patrick Starr, and I can't help but laugh. This is hilarious and awesome. But, when you think about Patrick, he's a can't miss character. Like when you think about like best character, right? Don't overthink it. I'm sorry, it's not SpongeBob as much as we love him. Patrick's the funniest. Patrick's the go-to. He always has the funny one-liners. He's the one that makes the show run. So, as when you ask who your favorite character is in SpongeBob and you don't overthink it and you go with Patrick, the Patriots didn't overthink it and they drafted Drake May. He was the best available. They didn't try and get cute with it. They didn't trade back. They didn't jump forward with J.J. McCarthy. They just stuck with their guns and took the best player available at the most important position, and that was Drake May. And so, you look at all his, not only the on the field stuff with the arm strength, the athleticism, all that kind of stuff, but even off the field stuff. He's funny. He's always has a smile on his face. He's ready to rock with this thing. So I think that he was the best decision they could have made. And the reason I comp it to Patrick is, just like I said, he's the best character, and there's no question about it.
And I went with a little bit of a different route, not only with mindset wise, but also in terms of SpongeBob, I guess. I went with the movie. Drake May, you're hoping he's the Patriots savior, just like David Hasselhoff was in the SpongeBob movie.
Yep.
In the movie, everything was looking grim. SpongeBob and Patrick couldn't get back to Bikini Bottom in time. But guess who came in to save the day? David Hasselhoff. And that's what you're hoping Drake May does for the Patriots. Obviously, coming off of a pretty poor season, everything is kind of looking down. You get your shiny new quarterback and hope that he can lead you to success. So that's why I have Drake May as David Hasselhoff from the SpongeBob movie, because he's just hopefully the savior for the Patriots, the next new thing to bring them back to relevancy, just like SpongeBob and Patrick were brought back to Bikini Bottom. I love this. All right. Anyway.
Now we kick it over to the guy who's never seen a damn episode. Come on, guys.
SpongeBob would be nothing without SpongeBob. Drake May would be nothing without the Patriots, and vice versa. The Patriots would be nothing without Drake May. So that's kind of my logic here. SpongeBob is that main character everyone loves. He's obviously the most iconic character in the show. Quarterback's the most iconic position in football. Is Bikini Bottom like? I might have. I want to learn a little. So
Bikini Bottom would be Gillette Stadium.
Okay, that's what I figured. Just wanted to make sure. So Drake May will be lighting up the fans at Gillette Stadium like SpongeBob does at Bikini Bottom.
Love it.
Now, moving on to the Patriots' second round pick. Obviously, wide receiver Jalen Polk from Washington. Mike, kick it off with your comp.
Yeah, Sandy Cheeks, athlete, top tier athlete. Not just Sandy's obviously the karate star. Jalen Polk is the football star. But not only an athletic freak, but also a leader. Always has the right mindset. Always brings around, helps the people around her in the show. Does Sandy just like Jalen Polk does to his teammates. So again, they're not just super good at what they do, but they also have a different attitude about them that, kind of differentiates themselves from their peers. So that's why I go with Jalen Polk here, that's why I go with Sandy Cheeks here for Jalen Polk. But more on Polk, I can't wait to see him grow with Drake May. I just think that he is, I keep hearing the comp like a more athletic Jacoby Myers. And that's exactly what you look for in a receiver, right? Jacoby was everything you wanted in a wide receiver. He just was a little too, not short literally, but, a little short on the athleticism side, right? So if you can pair that up with a guy who goes up and gets the ball, who's super, I'm reading the comments too. That's
I saw that.
But someone who's super, again, athletic and Jalen Polk, who goes up against the football, who can be sort of like that binky security blanket for your quarterback. I just think him and Drake May coming in at the same time is so crucial. And I think that they need some leaders on offense. Not that, Kendrick Bourne and Hunter Henry aren't, solid captains or captain material rather, but they clearly went for a certain, a certain angle in their draft class. And I think Jalen Polk's just that, just like Sandy Cheeks is a leader as well. So.
Yep. And I actually had the exact same comp right here. Again, Jalen Polk as Sandy Cheeks. Just both of them being very smart. Sandy, obviously, like the scientist of the show, always knows what's going on, how to help, how to fix every situation. Just a reliable character. And that's what you want Jalen Polk to be for the Patriots. Always there, always open, ready to make a grab, whatever it may be. You want Jalen Polk to be Sandy Cheeks. And as funny as it is to say, like that's the comp that you are going to want out of Jalen Polk. Again, just reliable, smart, great leaders, like you said. Sandy always ready, always helping out the other characters, and Jalen Polk, you could not hear anything better, like from his Washington coaches about him. Just how he is as a leader, as a teammate, and that's what Sandy is in SpongeBob. Now moving on to the man who's never seen the show.
Let's see how he spins it.
And
so
go.
Squidward,
Go ahead.
Tentacles. I hope I pronounced that right, but he is kind of sometimes at odds with SpongeBob, right? And they don't see eye to eye. He kind of has that more reserved personality. I think Jalen Polk is going to be kind of on the quieter side, and he's just going to go to work every day and just do his job, right? He's just going to he has hands of steel. Obviously, Mike, you mentioned he's not as explosive. I think he ran 4.5, 4.6 at the combine. But he's someone on third down that, Drake or Jacoby, whoever's at quarterback, can just rely on. He's someone who can get open, but can also get that 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left. So that's kind of how I see them relate a little bit. And I hope that was okay because you guys had the same character. But
It's perfect. We'll take it.
It's hey, you got one. All right, that's what we need. at least one. SpongeBob was good too, as Drake made. But now going on to the 3rd round pick, Caden Wallace. Mike, again, you're gonna kick it off.
I can't stop laughing. This is actually a lot of fun. Like, because it's objectively so stupid, but it's also a fun way to look at people. Yep. Not stupid in a bad way, and the reason I'm laughing specifically at this one is because I, in prepping for this show, actually had to do a little bit of research. Like, was looking up SpongeBob characters to see what I could do.
Oh, so was I.
And so something I found out was that the creator of SpongeBob, Stephen Hillenbrand, I believe is his name, he thought that Mrs. Puff was so like a crucial character to the show, was like so important, but he didn't know why yet. Like, he was like, he thought it was important to have her in the show, but he wasn't sure where it would fit in. And that's how I think of the Caden Wallace pick. Like, you needed offensive tackle help, whether it was a right tackle, whether it's a left tackle. You don't know where he's going to go. You don't know if they're going to stick him at right. You don't know if they're going to move over to the left side. Obviously, he mentioned that he'd be comfortable with it, but like, I think it was important to grab an offensive tackle, but I just don't fully understand what their plan is yet. You know, we'll get to Layden Robinson in a minute, but when they originally drafted Caden Wallace, it was like, okay, what does that mean for Mike Onwenu? Is he going to kick back inside? Is Wallace going to play right tackle? Or are they going to move him to the left? Is Cole Strange's job done? And it was kind of a mystery, but you had to make the pick. And in, again, doing the SpongeBob research, that's what Stephen Hillenbrand thought of Mrs. Puff. Mrs. Puff also a little bit on the bigger side, just like Caden Wallace is. So you could maybe put Mrs. Puff out on the left side, especially when she's a pufferfish, especially when she blows up like that. Maybe stick her and she could be Drake May's blind side left tackle. But the importance and the fact that it doesn't really make sense just yet, that's why I compare Mrs. Puff to Caden Wallace.
Did your research. I mean, when you said that at first, I was like, all right, yeah, just looking up characters, reading a little blurb about some of them. That's what I did. No, you were going into the creator's intentions with the show. I mean,
the history of it all.
Love it. My one is a bit less. This is probably my least like football oriented one. Caden Wallace's Purple Dr. Fish. It was the closest thing that I could find to an oyster scientist.
Perfect.
As we know, Caden Wallace's brother is an oyster scientist. Had that little moment on the introductory press conference. If your brother is smart enough to be an oyster scientist, you're smart enough to be a purple Dr. Fish. There's not much else there, just besides it being a smart player. I guess more, I'm probably on the field too, but off the field, and being a Dr. Fish.
Love it.
Okay, this is good. I'm ready for this one.
Okay.
All right, Caden Wallace, experienced tackle, played at Penn State, had 40 starts. I think on the left side because Olu Fashanu was on the other side. Carlos, yeah. But very experienced. Patrick Star, again, he's experienced. He's an experienced character in SpongeBob. Been there since the beginning. So that's one similarity. He's also very dependable. I mean, both of them, right? Patrick Star is SpongeBob's right-hand man, I think. But you always see him. And then you also have Caden Wallace, who's, protecting the quarterback's blind side on the left side or playing really well on the right side. He's someone who might move to guard later on in his career. But with the Patriots drafting Layden Robinson, that might signal that he might stay at tackle. But that's something to watch. But again, I'm actually really excited about the Wallace pick. Of course, you saw that run of tackles, Patrick Paul, Fisher, all of those. They kind of went off the board right before the Patriots drafted. selected Wallace, but they said, I mean, Elliot Wolf said Wallace was always the guy, so that's a good sign, I guess.
Wallace was the guy for them, just like Patrick is going to be the favorite character.
Exactly.
Like Mike said, don't overthink it. They didn't overthink it with Wallace, even if it wasn't like the most appealing pick. Didn't overthink it. They got him. And in SpongeBob, we have Patrick. Anyways, moving on now. Round 4, first pick of the 4th round, Layden Robinson. Take the floor.
All right, Gary the Snail. So I'll go with Layden Robinson first, and then I'll comp it to Gary because watching and covering the draft last round 4, so this was Saturday at like around noon, I believe. It was the day refreshed, reset the boards. You kind of refigure out what your next needs are. Wide receivers are at the top of the list again for the Patriots, maybe a tight end, what have you. They hit quarterback, tackle, wide receiver in the first round. So it was like, all right, let's see where they go with this. And then they just kind of threw a guard at us. And I was like, okay. Like it was kind of deflating. I didn't really care. Like no offense to Layden Robinson. The more I think about it, day by day, it may end up being a really great pick. And he might be someone who could even, threaten Cole Strange for a starting left guard job. But at the time, it's not the sexy pick. It's like, okay, another guard. They just drafted 3 guards. During last year's draft, they drafted 3 guards on Saturday in Jake Andrews, City So, and Antonio Mafi. And now they do it again, and it was like, all right, I don't really care. Great, another guard. Let's get to the next pick. And that's kind of what I think about with Gary. Like, okay, there's the one episode with Gary when Gary, runs away from home, the Gary from home episode. Besides that, I'm not a huge Gary guy. Like, yeah, it's kind of funny when you just look at him and he does his meow, right? But overall, like, I could do without Gary. No offense. Some people might really disagree with that. Some more, I don't want to say more avid SpongeBob fans, but I feel like might be a little bit more of a controversial character now that I think about it, because I feel like some people might love Gary. But for now, not huge on Gary, and I wasn't huge on the Layden Robinson pick, even though I do think it could end up being a smart pick down the line.
And even I guess Gary, I wouldn't say he's a sidekick to SpongeBob, but he's his pet. He's important to SpongeBob. Interior offensive line, that's going to be important to your quarterback.
Very true.
I like it. I like the Gary comp. Mine, I mean, no offense by this, but Layden Robinson, I have him as Rocky. No. Yeah. All right. Now, because you have to remember, Rocky won the race. All right. He was going up against Gary. He was going up against Squidward's snail. I don't remember the name. I don't know if it had a name even.
Yeah.
But Rocky won the race. He has that grit, that dog mentality, that speed, and the determination. He was an underdog. He's going up. He's a rock, and he's going up against 2 snails in a race. Still caught the win. Has that determination. He is not the flashiest player. He's a rock with a number 1 on it, but he's a winner, a certified winner. He big body, gonna get it done, and that's what you're gonna want out of Layden Robinson on the inside, interior offensive line. Just hoping he can plug in whenever needed, be a reliable player. And again, when I was looking up stuff about Layden Robinson, because this was probably the one that I found the most difficult to comp. But when I was looking stuff up about him, he described himself as someone who wants to be quick. And again, Rocky won the race. So I really think that Rocky is a compliment. Some may think otherwise, but I mean Rocky in the kindest of hearts.
Well,
Robinson.
When the race started and Patrick's yelling at him and he can't get off the start line, whatever, right? It's like, oh, what the heck are we doing? Like, this guy can't do anything. And that's kind of how I feel now about Layden Robinson. But I also mentioned, and you're saying it too, At the end of the day, he ends up winning. At the end of the day, it might be the best pick of the draft. He might be a 15-year starter on the interior offensive line. Let's just wait and play this thing out before we, put our judgment out on Layden Robinson, just like we put our judgment out too soon on Rocky.
Not the flashiest, but he's the right pick.
Yep.
Maybe. We'll see. Moving on to Ben. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so if I'm being honest here, this is the one that was, like you said, the most confusing, the most hard to make. Mrs.
Especially
Puff,
if you
I
haven't
have
seen
here
the
in my
show.
notes. Yeah, exactly. I have in my notes that she is the boating school instructor. And she gets upset and stressed, even though SpongeBob is responsible for a significant percentage of the stress in her life. She's the one who ends up getting really stressed and really antsy. But she remains optimistic the whole time. I feel like Layden Robinson's a guy that can, remain optimistic that whole time. When he was speaking with the media last week, he said he was a grinder and he looks up to these past Hall of Famers, like I think it was Larry Allen, some of these past, offensive guards, tackles, and he looks up to them. I think Layden Robinson's a guy that can provide a lot of expertise to the position. Maybe not this year as he's a rookie, but someone who can grow into like a James Furnance and someone who's been with the Patriots for so long and is given that advice. That's kind of all I got. This was the most challenging one.
That's all right.
Yeah, I thought Layden Robinson was a tough one to comp, but moving on to who I thought was probably the easiest to comp. This might have even been where I came up with the idea, how it hit me. But Javon Baker.
Okay.
Mike, take the floor.
All right. My comp for Javon Baker is Squilliam Fancy Son, who I think is a relative of Squidward, or just like another, maybe not a relative, but
I think they just grew up close.
Yeah, another squid who is just so damn cocky about everything he does. He always makes it a point to Squidward to say, "I'm better than you. You stink. I'm successful. You're not." And that's really his shtick, is that Squidward's always looking up to Squilliam and he just can't get there. And Squilliam's always in his face saying, "Ha ha ha, I'm better than you." And that's Javon Baker. We've seen it. We've seen the wheelchair clip. We've seen the Instagram post, the other day saying there's not 10 wide receivers better than me. He just has this attitude about him that, there's a negative connotation in SpongeBob about Squilliam and how he's mean to Squidward, what have you, and Squidward takes it for what it's worth. But, my point being, the both of them are very cocky and have an attitude about them that, for lack of a better word, their shit doesn't stink. And that's Javon Baker, and I love it. I think that's going to be crucial for him on the field. I think it's going to help out the Patriots a ton to have not only high, and not to say that Javon Baker doesn't have, isn't a good, doesn't have good character traits. I'm saying though, there's the high character guys, the leaders in Jalen Polk and Drake May, and then there's this sort of wide receiver cocky diva type in Javon Baker that they have now, that a lot of these guys, some of the best in football right now, have that attitude. And so I love it. I think Javon Baker is the perfect yin and yang for Jalen Polk in the room, and is just like Squilliam in the fact that they're both really cocky. So that's my comp.
And you know what? Squilliam talks all that trash, and he backs it up.
He does.
He is the best. You're hoping Javon Baker can be the same. He's saying there isn't 10 wide receivers better than him in America. As Patriots fans, we can only hope. I mean, you're hoping that he has the success that Squilliam has in the bikini bottom world. You're hoping Javon Baker can translate that to the NFL. My comp, Dennis.
Yes.
Dennis, again, going back to the movie, if you weren't here for the first one, I had Drake May comp to David Hasselhoff from the movie. Now Dennis from the movie. Just that mindset that you were talking about and that we all love with Javon Baker, where he said it, when I line up on a cornerback, didn't he say "Oh, I'm trying to kill him," or something along those lines?
Yes.
That's what Dennis does. That's Dennis's goal. His whole role in the movie is just to hunt down SpongeBob and Patrick, and that's what you're hoping Javon Baker does for, or I guess against cornerbacks. You want him to cook, you want him to go through every obstacle possible because Dennis has to fight through like everywhere. And Javon Baker, he's gonna have to fight through press man or high safeties, whatever it may be. But you're hoping he gets through there, and gets the ball. Just like I guess in the movie, you're not hoping Dennis gets to SpongeBob and Patrick, but Dennis is hoping he gets to SpongeBob and Patrick. So I just for the mindset, I have Javon Baker as Dennis from the movie. Ben?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So I have Plankton here for Javon Baker. I read that Plankton's kind of egotistical and aggressive. He's always scheming up ways to kind of ruin SpongeBob's optimism. I think that kind of correlates just a little bit with Javon Baker. He's kind of, Mike and Zach, like you said, he has that personality. And I think that works really, really well hand in hand with Jalen Polk. They're kind of like, I feel like they're a little different, but I think together they'll be a really, really good duo, even 3-4 years down the line. Baker's someone who can work kind of that more Z in the slot position a little more, and Polk can be more on the outside. And it's awesome because these guys are signed to 4-year deals, and with Drake May. So those three players can, kind of gel together and work together. It might not come together at first, kind of like Plankton. His plan doesn't come together at first, but after a little practice, scheming up more, it kind of comes together to fruition.
And in the show, Plankton, he's trying to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula, Ben, as I'm sure you know. And Javon Baker, he's trying to steal the football out of the air, even if it is as a wide receiver. The ball belongs to him. He's still trying to go out and steal it out of the air, just like Plankton is stealing the formula from Mr. Krabs. Moving on to round 6 with Marcellus Dial, cornerback. Mike, you got him as the elastic waistband. I'm jealous of this one.
So yeah, the elastic waistband. This is, and now my memory is shot a little bit, but like it's an episode. I think it's with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, where there's like this allegiance of like villains or something, and the elastic waistband is one of them. And it ends up just being Patrick in an elastic waistband costume in the show, but can sort of do it all. Like has the elasticity and versatility to in the show just get all around. But as Marcellus Dial is, they're going to be able to dial him up and put him anywhere in the back end of the defense. That's sort of my thought on that is he can play on the outside at cornerback. You may even be able to put him in the slot. You might be able to play him at safety. So he can do everything. He has the versatility and the elusiveness to play all along the defense, just like the elastic waistband is super stretchy and does anything you need it to and can get anywhere you want it to. So a long way around of saying that I see Marcellus Dial more as just a defensive back, not necessarily a cornerback. And someone that I think, look, if they're going to pick one defender, it should be someone in the defensive backfield because they're light on safety. Well, they're light on free safety. They're light on boundary corner. So get a guy who might be able to do both in Marcellus Dial. So that's my comp is the elastic waistband.
Yeah, I got to make sure we get the episodes right. I believe they made like an Avengers type thing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it was like SpongeBob was the speed guy. Me go to the mountain and back. I think they all were trying to take down the villains.
That's
I don't know. It's been a minute, but
yeah, you're right. No, but you're right because Squidward's like the Krakatoa guy, and he has like the volcano head or something. So yeah, no, you're right. That they're trying to take down the villains. That's right.
Oh, great times. All right.
I miss it. There's completely sidetracked. A couple months ago, I was like on, I think it was Peacock or something, and I saw SpongeBob was on, and I was like, oh, they actually have episodes on here, and I sat for like 3 hours and just watched SpongeBob for like 5 hours. Like it's a great show, Ben. You really have to watch it.
Ben, get to it.
Yeah.
After just tonight, binge watch SpongeBob.
Just stay up all night. Yeah. Is it how many seasons?
It's worth it. Oh, probably like 50.
I was gonna say at least like 20.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's been running for probably like 30 years of just But anyways, getting back to it, I have Marcellus Dial as the anchovies. Just the anchovies are committed to the craft. All right, they're getting in there. They're quick, athletic, and that's what really Marcellus Dial's like whole scouting report was. Is he may not be the most technically sound, but he's an athlete, and that's what the anchovies do. All right, they're quick. They have that strength in numbers too, and yeah, they're just really tacky and committed to the craft because they want their Krabby Patties, and Marcellus Dial wants to knock the ball out of the air, get some picks, whatever it may be. This is another one that I did think was kind of tough. This and Layden Robinson, but I do like the anchovies as my pick again. Just athletic, athletic fish with the anchovies, and an athletic guy with Marcellus Dial.
Love it.
Moving on to Ben, one we've seen before.
Yeah, so I have Sandy Cheeks. She is someone who is skilled, resourceful, dependable, and she often showcases her athleticism and her intelligence. I think that fits really, really well with Marcellus Dial. He led his team at South Carolina with 10 pass breakups last year. He's someone who, like you said, like both you guys said, is incredibly versatile, can play in the box, can play out of the box, can play cornerback, nickel, even in the slot. He has enough size. I think he's a 5'11". 5'11", 190. And he definitely has the speed to play on the outside. But I mean, he just has incredible ball instincts. He gets his hands on the football all the time, which makes you think he can play a little free safety. So it'll be interesting to see if the Patriots re-sign Peppers at the end of the season, if they re-sign Duggar at the end of the season, and if both of those guys go, this is someone who can compete for that free safety roster spot.
For sure.
How is that?
Proud of you. I'm proud of you, Ben. You still got a bunch of episodes to catch up on, though. Now, going to the pick of the draft and the pick of our draft, because we had a clean sweep on this one. I guess that's a spoiler because I still have it as 3 independent backgrounds, but
that's okay.
We have a clean sweep on this one.
Then I won't take much of it, but long story short, Joe Milton III is Larry the Lobster. Big, fast, strong, can do it all. Joe Milton's cannon arm, Larry the Lobster is, there we go, Carlos. Exactly. You get it. It's obvious. It's too obvious. There's Larry does everything. He's an athlete. He's a competitor. Everyone, at least on the beach at Bikini Bottom. Ben, can you believe there's a beach with water inside water? It's crazy. You got to watch it. Go check. Goo Lagoon is what it's called. Larry's the lifeguard. He could be the savior, and maybe Joe Milton's the savior of the quarterback room. Who knows? But this one I thought was pretty obvious.
Yep. Again, same thing on my end. Joe Milton is Larry the Lobster. Just athletic anomalies. Really that's all you have to say. Just freak athletes. Also, like you said, good leaders. Joe Milton really led his team and Larry the Lobster. You see him down in Bikini Bottom, organizing these like weightlifting tournaments or whatever it is. Like, I believe he opened up a gym in Bikini Bottom. He's a community leader, and and Joe Milton is a team leader, leading the quarterback room, leading the rest of the team. And again, can't stress it enough, just athletic anomalies. Joe Milton is Larry the Lobster.
Yeah.
Ben, you got anything else?
You guys said it all. I have right here legit 2 words, very strong. So
Yeah.
there you have it. If you need someone to throw the ball 80 yards, like Alex Both likes to say, Joe Milton's your guy. He's someone who, I would say he has potential long-term backup in the NFL. And people are like, well, why would he take him when he just took Drake May? You only have Jacoby Brissett for so long. Drake May obviously is your long-term starter, but if Joe Milton can be a guy that can be a dependable backup for the next 6-7 years, it's a great pick. So I'm really excited to see him at training camp. Him and Drake May are going to be very fun to watch, just like flinging the ball 60, 70 yards downfield. But yeah, so I guess Larry the Lobster is quite the guy.
All right, I gotta do the Barth thing, but with Larry the Lobster. If you need a guy to do 80 reps, Larry the Lobster will do 80 reps. If you need a guy to do 5 reps, Larry the Lobster will do 80 reps. Just like how Joe Milton will throw it 80 yards. I had to do it when Ben brought it up. Last but not least, Patriots 7th round pick, Jaheim Bell. Get it up there.
I'm going with Fred, baby. Fred, underrated character in SpongeBob. He's everywhere. He's the my leg guy. If you don't know, if you hear the my leg yelp in SpongeBob, it's probably in every 3rd episode. And that's who Fred is. You may not know that it's Fred, but Fred flies under the radar, and he's one of the best and most important characters in SpongeBob. And that's what I think the Jaheim Bell pick is. I think it's a very underrated pick. I think at this point, thinking it over more, I'd be surprised if he doesn't make the team. They need some help at tight end. Obviously, they have Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper, but Austin Hooper's only on a 1-year deal. Hunter Henry's only getting older. So if you can find a way to use Jaheim Bell, whether it's at H-back, whether it's at pure tight end, whether it's on special teams, like he can do a lot. He's versatile, just like Fred is. Fred's everywhere. He does everything in the show. So yeah, I like the Jaheim Bell pick a lot, and I think it was really underrated. I expected him to go off the board a lot sooner, so I think they got some good value in it. So yeah, underrated. I think that's sort of why I tied him to Fred from SpongeBob. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Fred is probably like the best like background character, best like extra in SpongeBob. And Jaheim Bell, he could potentially be the Patriots like best late round draft pick and best, I guess, rotational piece. Just like how Fred is used in the show. I'm having so much fun. Anyways,
I know we'll do the whole 53-man roster next time.
Friday tradition. Mike, you're on every show, just SpongeBob comps. Anyways, Jaheim Bell, I have him as young Mermaid Man. Mermaid Man in his prime. You don't get to see this Mermaid Man a lot in the show. You usually see the 80-year-old retirement home Mermaid Man. No, that is not Jaheim Bell. He is the crime-stopping Mermaid Man who's just an athletic beast. Kind of similar reasoning as to Joe Milton being Larry the Lobster. Jaheim Bell, just quick, strong. That's really all there is. Again, just athletic beasts, just like a young Mermaid Man. They work pretty well together, in my opinion. Just the athletic abilities there, and that's why I had to have Jaheim Bell as the younger, more in the prime version of Mermaid Man.
Yeah, so for that last one here,
Gary, come on.
Maybe the opposite.
I'm kidding.
Mermaid Man.
So I texted Zach like 15 minutes ago, right when he started. I'm like, I'm about to just like BS this whole thing. I'm making this all up. Like I have these notes, but they're like straight off of Wikipedia, just character summaries. So I tried to do my best.
I love it.
Obviously, we're ending off not on the great side, but it's fine. Gary the Snail, Jaheim Bell. Yeah, exactly. I didn't even see that comment, but like you could tell. I let you that Gary the Snail is SpongeBob's loyal pet. Someone who is supportive, someone who is wise. I see Jaheim Bell when I was watching his tape. It kind of reminds me a little bit about Johnny Smith when he was at Tennessee. Just how they got him the ball. And I feel like if Alex Van Pelt can kind of scheme around, set up specific plays for Jaheim Bell, he can really showcase his talent. He's a little undersized, but again, that can always be fixed. He averaged 8.1 yards per catch last year, which I mean isn't eye dropping, but isn't mouth dropping, but it's still good. I feel like Jaheim Bell can grow with Drake May just like these other receivers can, and like you said, Hunter Henry's getting old. Austin Hooper's only on a 1-year deal, so hopefully Jaheim Bell is around long term.
Ben couldn't figure out how to compare it to Gary. He just started talking about
All right. Fine. Hey.
You know what? That's probably what this is supposed to be, but we had to get our SpongeBob talk in somehow.
Exactly.
But that's all we got for the draft picks. That was so good. That was amazing.
That's a way to get into the weekend for sure.
Oh yeah. That's a way to head into a pizza dinner on a nice Friday. Mike, thank you for coming on and let everyone know where they can find you across social media.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks for having me. This was fun. Good way to mix my love of SpongeBob into my love of football and the Patriots. So yeah, find me on Twitter at Mike Kadlick with all your for all your Patriots coverage whenever you want it. And the occasional SpongeBob meme as well. So yeah, guys, thanks for having me. This was a good time.
Really quick, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
I'm keeping up with your shows behind the mic, and you always ask, what's your ideal pizza?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever told anyone what your ideal pizza is. So tell them like what's on your pizza. Yeah.
So. I mean, everybody knows that I love the pickle pizza from Town Spa in Stoughton, which, look, Ben, I see you shaking your head. If you like pickles, you have to try it because it is delicious. But it's only phenomenal at Town Spa in Stoughton, Mass. I've made my own and I've had them elsewhere, but it's not the same. So realistically, my go-to favorite pizza is just a classic pepperoni, and everyone's going to think like, oh, well, you're supposed to be the exotic pizza guy and you just go with the basics. But, realistically, if you need just a great pie, it's always going to be pepperoni for me. I will say a chicken Caesar salad pizza is also pretty good. If you're a chicken Caesar salad guy, it's basically just a salad on a pizza. It's not pizza sauce. You just use the dressing as the sauce. And it's basically just a big crouton under a salad. So it's great. So again, don't knock that one until you try it. But yeah, no, pepperoni is the go-to for sure.
Are you a big Portnoy? Are you a big Portnoy fan?
Yeah, I like Dave.
Yeah. Do you watch the One Bite Pizza reviews?
Occasionally, yeah. I've seen them around. Yeah. No, they're good.
All right. Awesome. I got to stick with the episode's theme. Is pepperoni pizza Patrick Star?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, don't overthink that. Yeah, don't overthink it. Just a classic, don't get too cute with it. You need something good. You need a laugh with Patrick. You need a good pie. Just you go with pepperoni pizza. So yeah, definitely.
All right. I love it. This was great. Mike, again, thank you for coming on. Thank you to everybody, 350 of you, for tuning in, listening to us talk about SpongeBob and the Patriots. Gotta love it. I'm Zach. You can find me at pats.today on Instagram, any Patriots Today on X or Twitter. And Ben, let them know where they can find you as well.
Yeah, the Patriots beat everywhere. Definitely check out what pizza is he asking?
What Drake may be.
What pizza? I mean, gotta go just cheese. I mean, just can't. He's the prototypical, quarterback. He has the size. He's the basic athletic quarterback. Everything you want. I mean, can't overthink it. Just
can't miss pick. Everybody likes a cheese pizza. Everybody likes Drake May.
Exactly. Anyway, and Zach, if they want to know when our next show will be, where do they find that out?
Oh, they can find it right. Oops, I accidentally
you just
kicked
took Mike off the screen.
There we go. They can find it right here. Pats Nation Nightly on Instagram, Pats Nation Night on X. But yeah, I guess with that, I could have kept it on there and not changed it. Oh well. With that, again, thank you all for tuning in. We're going to wrap it up there. That was amazing. Again, talking SpongeBob and the Patriots. Thank you all for listening and have a great